Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Bonachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jayong Vishnupad Paramhansha Parivrajikacharya Ashtuttar Shatu Shri Srimad Abhay Charanarubindo Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Mathura Dham ki jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shamabeto Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaurango, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschata Vishitari. Hare Krishna. So today is the last day of our retreat and the last session of our seminar. And I hope you have appreciated this or learned something from these sessions. And as I mentioned earlier, that I started these retreats about 5 years ago when I had a sort of a heart attack, and then the doctor told me not to travel. Now for me not to travel is not possible, was not possible. So at that time I thought that at least I can go to different places and not travel that extensively, and like I would go to one place and let everybody come there. And that's what I also wrote to my disciples and friends, that all this while I have been traveling to meet you, now you travel to meet me. The first session we had was in Switzerland, in a very beautiful location. It was a skiing resort on top of a mountain. And we booked up one hotel and turned that hotel into an ashram and temple. Their banquet hall was our temple room. The dining hall became our classroom, and like that. Like it was very nice. And devotees came from different parts of Europe. Then I think the next one I had was in Orlando, in America. And many of you came. Anyway, that's how I started it. Practically every year I was doing it at different places, mainly one in Europe, one in America, one in South Africa, one in Australia, one in India. And so that's how it has been going on for last 5 years, or maybe 4 years. No, I think it's 5 years. This is the 5th year running. And last year I didn't have this retreat in America. And so this year we invited you all and you all came. I feel very happy. The topic was a little new topic. All these years I was giving the seminars mainly on story-based topics. The first one I did was Ramayana. Then the next one was Mahabharata. And anyway, in this way, mainly they were story-based, and the topics were actually rather simple. And my basic objective was that you all get to know what we are pursuing, what is our objective. And that was Ramayana and Mahabharata mainly were the basis. Mahabharata is the main topic for us. But I selected Ramayana first because if we did Mahabharata, then there wouldn't be any room for Ramayana. Therefore I thought Ramayana first and then go to Mahabharata. Anyway, but this time I selected a topic which is more philosophical than, or rather instruction-based topic, like Krishna's instruction to Uddhava. And I was a little doubtful at the beginning how the response will be, and I must admit that I was very impressed with the response. I saw that no one actually fell asleep. And also many nice questions came up, and these interactive exchanges are very beneficial, very effective. And sometimes in course of questions, answers, I may have been a little heavy. I hope you all won't mind it. You see, my business is to be heavy. Guru, there are two expressions, Laghu and Guru. Laghu means light, Guru means heavy. It's a Sanskrit word. That's of course one way to look at it. The other meaning of Guru is one who removes darkness. Guru. One who removes darkness. Either way, either to remove darkness, you have to push the darkness out. You have to push the ignorance away. So the pushing means heavy. And also, when you are assuming the role of a teacher, you have to be heavy. I remember in my school, the teacher who was heavy, we were very careful about doing our homeworks properly. And those who are light, we are not very attentive. They're popular, but study-wise, so anyway, and so I hope I did not offend anybody in course of my presentation. So I was actually thinking of doing some more of these sessions, more of these chapters from Uddhava Gita. But then I thought I would rather take these sessions for more interaction, question answers maybe, and emphasize the basic objective of this of this Uddhava Gita. Like any other scriptural instructions, these instructions are based on reminding us about what the goal of life is. And the ultimate goal of life is pure devotion to Krishna. Uddhava Gita is very, very emphatically making that point. And I expect that you will now read this Uddhava Gita on your own. I hope that all of you have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam at home. So that also includes the 11th canto. 11th canto was not translated by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada did only up to the 14th chapter of the 10th canto of Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam. And the rest of Srimad Bhagavatam was translated and purported by a group of Prabhupada disciples. And mainly it was Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, one of our god brothers, very scholarly. Actually, it amazes me to see how brilliant these devotees were. Like Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu is from America. He's an American. And he didn't study Sanskrit in school or college. He didn't have any exposure to Sanskrit otherwise. But after coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada, on his own he started to study Sanskrit. And he became a scholar. On his own, right? It kind of amazes me, like how it's possible. And in a way, we have to also remember that Prabhupada pointed out that devotees often carry on from their previous life. And like as you know, Jara Bharat, in his previous life he was King Bharat. Similarly, Bhishma Dev was a Bashu, one of the demigods. And like that, like devotees, we first of all, we know the concept of reincarnation. the spirit soul never dies. Tatha dehantara prapti. At the time of death or after death, dehantar, spirit soul takes up another body. So this way, spirit soul transmigrates from one body to another body. And so many of our devotees must be continuing from this previous life. And in future also many of our devotees will continue into other bodies that will be involved in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada also mentioned that my Guru Maharaj sent you all. When Prabhupada was addressing his disciples in America, I think it was in New York City temple. It was a Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vas Puja celebration. And Prabhupada mentioned that my Guru Maharaj sent you all. And not only Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada broke down crying after that. So how with so much feelings Prabhupada had admitted that. So that means these devotees who came to assist Srila Prabhupada, and also many devotees who will continue to assist Srila Prabhupada in his mission, are coming from previous background where they had been devotees and now they came to assist Srila Prabhupada's mission. And many devotees will continue to assist ISKCON movement in the future. So, anyway, to go back to that point, so Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu was the main person who was doing the translation and purporting. These purports were actually given from the writings of previous acharyas. That's what Srila Prabhupada also used to do. Prabhupada used to read the commentaries of previous acharyas, and based on their commentaries, Prabhupada used to give his commentary. And these devotees, a group of devotees, like Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu. Next is, of course, Hridayananda Maharaj, Dravida Prabhu. Jayadvaita Maharaj was mainly doing the editing. Keshav Bharati Maharaj. So these were the devotees. As a team, they worked on the purports and translation. And so the 11th canto was their presentation. And they mainly translated other acharyas' commentaries. They hardly gave any commentary themselves. That's why you will notice, like, many of these don't have, many of the verses of the 11th canto didn't have any commentary. Doesn't have any commentary. So that's because the previous acharyas did not give any commentary. Whereas Prabhupada gave his commentary practically on every single verse. Prabhupada actually wanted to translate Srimad Bhagavatam in 60 volumes. With 30 volumes, he had done up to 9th canto, and Prabhupada wanted to write another 60 volumes. No, I think up to 9th canto is about 28 volumes or so. And then Prabhupada wanted to translate the 10th canto with 30 volumes, in 30 volumes. he wanted to give extensive commentary on Krishna's pastimes in 10th canto. And then 2 or 3 volumes for 11th and 12th canto. So 11th canto for us is very important because 11th canto is giving the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. The essence of entire Srimad Bhagavatam is in the 11th canto. Up to 10th canto we find, so 10th canto ends with Krishna's pastimes. 10th canto is quite elaborate, has 90 chapters in 10th canto. 10th canto describes Krishna's Vrindavan Lila, Mathura Lila and Dwarka Lila. Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Mathura and Dwarka. So they have been those pastimes are very quite elaborately described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So 10th canto is the Samam Bonam. 10th canto is the ultimate point of Srimad Bhagavatam. And 10th canto describes the activities and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In 10th canto it has been made clear who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally people think that Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna was an incarnation of Vishnu. Incarnation of Kshirodokshayi Vishnu. Actually, Kshirodokshayi Vishnu is the origin of all incarnations in the planet, Earth, in the material nature. All the incarnations are expansions of Kshirodokshayi Vishnu, or manifestations of Kshirodokshayi Vishnu. Mahavishnu or Karanadokshayi Vishnu, Garbhodokshayi Vishnu and Kshirodokshayi Vishnu. Kshirodokshayi Vishnu is the presence of Vishnu in this planet. And he is the super soul of all living entities. And he is also the origin of all the incarnations in the material nature. When Krishna comes in the material nature to serve some purpose, then he expands as an incarnation. And those incarnations are the expansions of Kshirodokshayi Vishnu. Many people think that Krishna is an incarnation of Kshirodokshayi Vishnu. But from the 11th canto or from Srimad Bhagavatam, we get to know that Krishna is not an incarnation, but Krishna is the origin of all incarnations. At the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, this point has been established. Ete changsha kala pungsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan. And eti changsha kala pungsha. All these incarnations are Krishna's parts and parts of the parts. But Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is how Srimad Bhagavatam is actually revealing the identity of Krishna. And what is the relationship between living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead? that of a master and servant. Krishna is the supreme Lord and Master, whereas the living entities are his fragmental or tiny, atomic parts and parcels, very small. So Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead and living entities are parts and parcels. So what's their relationship? What is the relationship between the master and his subordinate? Servant. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the master. Then what is our relationship with him? As that of a servant. Jiver Swarup hoy Krishner Nityadas. Living entities are Krishna's eternal servants. Nityadas. That position always remains. That position never changes. Krishna is always the Lord and Master. But Vrindavan has a different characteristic. Yes, Krishna is the Lord and Master. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord and Master. But Vrindavan is a region where Krishna is not the Lord and Master. And that's why Vrindavan is so special. In Vrindavan, Krishna is a friend. In Vrindavan, Krishna is a baby. Krishna is a child. And Vrindavan, Krishna is a paramour, lover. Transcendental Romeo. And actually that's what Krishna is. Now, Krishna assumes these roles in Vrindavan in order to enable his devotees to develop some very special relationships. Those special relationships are relationships as a friend, friendship, relationship as a child, son, in parental relationship. The devotees are treating Krishna as their own child, just as the parents treat their children. And a relationship like that of a loving relationship between a young boy and young girl. Not a young boy with young girl, rather a young boy with many other young girls. Now, the consideration is friendship takes place. Okay, friendship takes place between the equals. Parental relationship is between the superior and subordinate. And conjugal relationship is between young boys and girls. Now, friendship. Who can become equal to God to become his friend? Can anybody become equal to God? No. Anyway, in friendship, one has to become equal to God. But in parental, God has become junior, inferior. So how can anybody be superior to God? And how can anybody treat God as a boyfriend? So These kind of relationships otherwise is not possible. In Vaikuntha, these relationships are not possible. In Vaikuntha, no one is Krishna's friend. In Vaikuntha, no one is Krishna's father. In Vaikuntha, no one is Krishna's girlfriend. But these three relationships are there. So how to develop these relationships? Now, in order to enable his devotees to develop these relationships, Krishna made a very special arrangement in a very special area in spiritual sky called Vrindavan. There, one cannot become equal to Krishna, but Krishna can become equal to somebody. No one can be superior to Krishna, but Krishna can become subordinate to somebody. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he wants, he can do that. So Vrindavan is the region where Krishna has done that. But in order to do that, Krishna had to make everybody forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because if devotees recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how could they treat him in that way? A simple consideration can be this. Like friends, what do? They wrestle. The friends, that's one of the games. At least in India, the children do that, especially in the villages. They wrestle. And in this wrestling bout, there is a condition that whoever loses has to carry the winner on his back. Now, in some wrestling bout, Krishna loses. And then the friend demands that now Krishna will have to carry him on his back. Krishna refuses to do that, saying that he was not defeated. He slipped on a banana peel and the friend jumped on him and claimed that he won. That's not fair. So Krishna refuses to carry him on his back. Then the friend also won't let him go. He said, Krishna, after so much struggle, I defeated you, and now you're saying that you are not defeated. You're giving the excuse that you've slipped on a banana peel, and so you have to carry me. Krishna said, nothing doing, I won't carry you. So they get into a fight. And then the friend forces his way onto Krishna's back. Now, just imagine, to force your way onto Krishna's back, what he had to do? He had to step on Krishna's body. Then climb onto Krishna's back. Now, which devotee will ever dare to put his foot on the deity on the altar? On Krishna's body in the altar. Will anybody ever dare to do that? Especially a devotee, will he ever dare to do that? No. Now in Vrindavan they can do that because they have forgotten that Krishna is God. If they remembered that Krishna was God, then they couldn't do that. So that is the specialty of Vrindavan. The parents tell Krishna, Nanda Maharaj said, Krishna, can you please bring my shoes? And little Krishna, what he does, he can't carry them, quite big, quite heavy. So he picks them up, puts them on his head, carries. Now who will ever allow the Supreme Personality of Godhead to carry his shoes on his head? Mother Jashoda, with a stick in her hand, chases him to chastise him. Who will ever dare to do that to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Therefore, in order to treat the Lord in that way, one had to forget that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now again, forgetfulness are of two types. One is forgetfulness out of ignorance. We don't remember, therefore we forget. Right? That's one kind of forgetfulness, out of ignorance. But there is another kind of forgetfulness that is out of love. For example, the son has become a state president, but does the mother treat the son like a state president? No. She treats him like her own son. So, that not that she does not know that her son is a state president, but it's not important to it. She doesn't remember that. She doesn't care for that. This is another kind of forgetfulness. So in Vrindavan, it's not that they don't know Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But to them, due to their intense love for Krishna, they forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If they remembered that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they couldn't treat Krishna the way they did. So that is Vrindavan. Therefore, Vrindavan is a very special region where the love is a predominating factor, not opulence. Opulence means recognizing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. He is the Supreme Controller, He is the Supreme Proprietor. He is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. Then automatically what will be the attitude? Oh my Lord, please accept my humble obeisances. Please allow me to serve you. Please allow me to become your eternal servant. That is the mood in Vaikuntha, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in Vrindavan, he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a cowherd boy. We may have a reverential attitude to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but with a cowherd boy, hi buddy, how are you doing? That is the attitude that one naturally develops because of his situation as a cow. He's not a cow. He's not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's a cowherd boy. That's how they're looking at him. That's how they're seeing him. That's how they're treating him. And then Krishna also is reciprocating in that way. My friend, I'm prepared to do anything for you. What can I do for you? How can I serve you? So that is their attitude in Vrindavan. So that's why Vrindavan is a very special region. So understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be complete without recognizing Him the way He is in Vrindavan. And that is why Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. The goal of Srimad Bhagavatam is not Vaikuntha. The goal of Srimad Bhagavatam is Braj, Vrindavan, beyond Vaikuntha. Actually, Krishna himself considered that now that I have revealed my Vrindavan pastimes, how will anybody ever understand what this pastime is like? What's the specialty of this pastime? People don't understand Vrindavan. Therefore Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to make us understand what's the specialty of Vrindavan. How special are these relationships? Is Vrindavan below Vaikuntha or above Vaikuntha? So that is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to tell us. So that is why Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be completed. Understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be completed without understanding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna is giving some understanding to Uddhava. At the end of his instruction, Krishna tells Uddhava very clearly that the goal of life is to serve him following the residents of Vrindavan. Serving, following the mood of the gopis. That is the highest form of devotion. So that point Krishna made very, very clear. But as I was saying, that has been most wonderfully revealed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just to make us understand what Braja Leela is, what's the specialty of Braja Leela. So as I mentioned earlier, please make it a point to read Srimad Bhagavatam, especially this, what you discussed in the 11th canto. Please read them carefully, and if you have any question, you can let me know. Like you can write to me in my email. And so now that we are here, before depending upon the internet or postal system, let's just see if you have any question. Yes, Sudhakar.
Understand. Great destiny reason. Specifically in some of our scriptures it is said that you replace so 7 generations of your older people were delivered. And what is the independence between my soul compared to other souls, my son's soul? If I do some bad things, it will affect my kids in a bad way. How do these things work?
That's a big topic. Maybe I should give a seminar on that topic someday. Okay, briefly. Okay, the question is, I want to know about the destiny of a soul, karmic reactions, and relationship between parents and children, right? Like how the souls take birth in some parenthood, and also how 7 generations get delivered. And in simple words, I will say that about these 7 generations getting delivered, etc., it's better to just accept what the scriptures are telling us. Because these are certain things that we cannot directly or experimentally verify. Can you travel your 7 generations? You won't be able to. Neither in the past nor in the future. Right? Therefore, at some point, we have to just leave it at, well, scriptures are saying that, so I accept it. The karmic reaction is like, that is rather simple to understand. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So that is not only a principle of physics, dealing with matter. It also applies to living entities. As you sow, so shall you reap. As you act accordingly, you will get the reaction of your action. And on that, based on that, due to that, the living entities are transmigrating from one body to another. Now, as you said, then the next thing that you asked, father and children. You see, here again is a consideration of karma. Like certain individual with a specific karma comes in contact with a specific parentage, and as a result of that he gets some specific reaction, or that reaction takes him to some parent and makes him act in a certain way. So that is like the soul, parent's soul and child's soul, offspring's soul, do not have any spiritual connection. This connection is karmic connection, right? The spiritual connection is established only when the activities are on the spiritual platform. All right? Okay. Take the mic so that everybody can hear.
Sometimes I have a very testy relationship with my father.
Sometimes?
I have a very testy relationship with my father.
What kind of relationship?
Testy, we fight a lot.
Okay. Well, somewhere in the past, your father did something, and you did something, and as a result of that, you're acting in a certain way. Right? So we have to, that's what, when you read this 11th canto, you will see that point will become very clear. That whatever is happening to us in this material platform is simply a result of karma being controlled by the guna. We are acting and the reactions are taking place due to the modes of material nature. And no one is, like sometimes it's said that, we are helpless. We are not doers. We are actually acting, being directed by guna and karma. Our situation is like a puppet. We are thinking that we are dancing, but it's a puppeteer that makes us dance. What is the puppeteer? The puppeteers are the demigods. And the strings with which he's controlling the puppet are the modes of material nature. And we are dancing according to our karma. Right? Karmic reactions are making us dance in a specific way. In simple words, somebody is born in a very opulent family. Because in his past he has done a lot of pious activities. As a result of pious activities, one gets birth in aristocratic family, opulent family. He gets beautiful appearance, Shri. He gets opulence, wealth due to his pious activities, and knowledge. Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribhi. On the other hand, if one acts in an impious way, sinful way, then he is subjected to, poverty-stricken condition, difficulties in material life, and so forth. Main point is nothing happens by chance or accident. Everything is happening due to this divine arrangement of guna and karma. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa. Everything is happening according to the arrangement of guna and karma. But ahankaro vimuratma kartaham iti mannate. Being bewildered by his false ego, one thinks that he is the doer.
So sometimes I read non-Bhagavatam and non-Sanskrit.
Sometimes?
Non-Bhagavatam and non-Sanskrit. I try to read the...
Non?
I try to read non-ISKCON, non-Bhagavatam scriptures and they're very bewildering.
That can be a very dangerous venture. Because it's something like, I'll just give you an example. Say, you have got admitted in a university to study medicine. Then what do? The university gives you the syllabus. These are the books that you must study, right? And the teachers direct you according to those books. Now, if you disregard those books and the teachings of those teachers and try to get some books from the market, how will you end up? You may think that it is a very wise endeavor, but you'll simply complicate your studies. When you are studying a subject in an university, follow the course. Why decide your own course? Why think that you know better than the university faculty? Give up that attitude, give up that tendency, be submissive. Submissive means to surrender. Everybody's main problem is independence. So give up your independence. If you want to pursue spiritual life, give up your independence forever. Just submit yourself to the process. Submit yourself to the institution that you are joining. If you don't, then you won't get the desired result. You'll simply complicate your own life. And you'll create disturbance to others. Become submissive. Prabhupada gave the process. Why do you think that you know better than Prabhupada? Then if you think you know better than Prabhupada, then go your own way. Don't come to ISKCON. Rather, if you come to ISKCON, submit to ISKCON. Submit to the process that ISKCON is propagating. You get my point? Yes, Nilamani Prabhu.
Maharaja, you were explaining about Vrindavan and spiritual world. And I was always wondering what is the difference between Krishna's Leelas in spiritual Vrindavan versus Bhoma Vrindavan?
Very nice point.
Like,
no difference.
Specifically like characters like Devaki and Vasudeva also there, especially Mathura.
Devaki and Vasudeva are there in Dwarka and Mathura, not in Vrindavan. Only Rohini Devi is there in Vrindavan. And only difference between that Vrindavan and earthly Vrindavan is that in that Vrindavan, in spiritual Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, Krishna's childhood pastimes are not there. Only in earthly Vrindavan, Krishna's childhood pastimes are there. In earthly Vrindavan, Krishna takes birth and grows up to become a Navakishore. That happens only in earthly Vrindavan. That's why some of our acharyas have commented that earthly Vrindavan therefore is superior to Golok Vrindavan. Because certain things that are available in earthly Vrindavan is not available there. They're there as an impression. Like, when Krishna was little boy, he used to do that. That is the mood there. Because Krishna is not present there as a child. Krishna is Navakishore there. Just 15 going on 17. Or going on 16.
Krishna leave to go to Mathura?
He doesn't leave, but they have a feeling that Krishna may go to Mathura to kill Kamsa. That's a feeling there. But in this Vrindavan, that happens. But then also, Jiva Goswami pointed out that Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan. Krishna doesn't even take a step out of Vrindavan. Krishna is always in Vrindavan, but they have a feeling as if Krishna left. And even when they see Krishna face to face, they feel that they were dreaming. That's the only difference. But otherwise, it's a transported. From there, Vrindavan came down to this planet. Thank you. Prem Pallavi. Okay, since the mic is there, let Nanda Dulal have his question and then let the mic come.
First of all, I thank that you took so much trouble to come and give us your association and message. And also, you actually brought us from the material imagination or material concept of living to the spiritual concept of living in the last 3 days. And my two questions, one is how to carry this memory all the time. The second thing, I have a question, so whichever way you want to answer. The second thing is that you mentioned about Varnashram yesterday, and it did perturb me a little bit, because I was born in Brahmin family. I have seen the atrocities, my grandfather and mother. I shouldn't say atrocities, but cultural things that we used to have separate for other people, for Muslims, for water pot and everything. And that actually rebelled in my mind in childhood. But as you have given some other classes, everybody is Shudra. Isn't it good that everybody become Krishna conscious enough, if it is possible, by Prabhupada, by all the acharyas, that way we don't have to go through this customs and the education and bigotry, habitude. Thank you.
Yeah, actually you answered your point. Krishna consciousness is the answer. And this caste system and all, they have destroyed the Vedic culture. Brahmanas lost their Brahminical qualities and they still claimed that they are the Brahmanas. And as a result of that, they distorted the whole system. And as a result of that, the Kshatriyas lost respect for the Brahmanas and decided not to follow the instruction. And that is how the whole thing started. But fortunately, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. And what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teach? It doesn't matter in which family you are born. Doesn't matter in which caste you are born. Doesn't matter in which country you are born. You have your birthright, your eternal right to develop your loving relationship with Krishna. And that is the ultimate goal of life. Doesn't matter, whatever. Chandalopi dijasrishta hari bhakti parayana. A Chandal who is the lowest kind of people. Even he can become superior to a Brahmana if he develops his loving relationship with Krishna. Okay, next question. Well, let me go there, that side. They have, Pallavi has the first thing, Mother Krishna Priya, and okay. So many questions today. Let's see.
I have two questions. Yesterday, I explaining the Varnashram system. What measures as parents do we take to prepare our children towards brahmacharya? Do we have a responsibility towards it? If so, So what steps do we take because they're at an age?
Very good, very good. If possible, at least, guide them, guide your children with proper Krishna consciousness. As a mother, that's your first responsibility. Then let the father guide him. Then let the spiritual master guide him. But all the guidance should be directed towards Krishna. Right? Up to the age of 6 to 8 by the mother, not beyond 8. You know what happens then? Then the child will become effeminate. He'll become too much influenced by the mother. He'll develop mother's qualities. Okay, so this is how guide your children.
Nice. What is the role of the mother when a child reaches 8?
After 8, let the father take over. And then the devotees of ISKCON allow him to develop relationship with other devotees, get them guidance, and wherever you are, may try to make arrangements that the Sunday school for children, where some devotees can guide them, and make it a point that children below 8 will be taken care of by mothers, and children above 8 will be taken care of by Prabhus. Thank you.
I have one more question. Yesterday, while explaining about the Manifesta, that you mentioned that it should be everything that you have, one should give up. But how is it in Nandavashila Goswami's principle of giving 50%?
Okay, good point. Recently I also had been faced with that question. And you see, considering today's situation, nobody will be able to give 50% of his income. And Prabhupada was very practical. Prabhupada did not say something. Like maybe somebody who is in the temple, living in the temple, where his expenses are taken care of by the temple, he can probably afford to give 50%, but not those who are living outside. So here we have to understand that after, taking care of all their needs, after they are taking care of their maintenance, whatever is left over from that, 50% can be given to Krishna conscious cause and so forth. Right? Not just 50% from your chunk. To begin with, the government is practically taking away 50%. Right? And in the Vedic society, that could have been possible. The king would take 50% but use it in Krishna conscious propagation instead of taking the tax. Mother Krishna Priya? Yeah.
I have a two-part question. First of all, thank you very much for this wonderful seminar and wonderful association of devotees.
Thank you for coming and gracing us, blessing us.
For the mercy of Aditya Narayana Prabhu, his family, they were so kind to Krishna Das. He also was very concerned that I should be able to attend, so thank you. So my question pertains to yesterday we were discussing about developing the spiritual body and how we have our gross and our subtle body. The subtle body disappears. So for instance, let's say when we're on the altar and we're dressing in beauties, are we actually, at that time, are we actually dissolving our
The process is helping us to dissolve because, meditating on Krishna, mind is absorbed in Krishna. And that's one consideration. And another consideration is that it's a part of Vaidhi Bhakti. right? Like practicing the process of devotion in order to get purified, right?
And then one other point. If there seems to be now, in fact, His Holiness Krishna has discussed it also, that nowadays there seems to be like so much propaganda. He said even, and I know when I was in India, you'll meet devotees that are just in the movement for 10 years, and already they're thinking that they know what their siddha is and what their position is and what is the best way to explain them. And then there were people that would say, well, unless you have a siddha guru, you'll never know. But didn't Srila Prabhupada guarantee us that if we engage in devotional service, then naturally everything we need to know will be revealed, and you can speak on that?
Yeah, that is there. But following the process also is important, like Adau Gurvashraya, accepting a bona fide spiritual master is also a part of the process. Like, you see, mainly because, the process, the actual objective is to surrender. Now, I will surrender to Krishna, I will surrender to Prabhupada, but I will not surrender to anybody else. No one is qualified. That is kind of, in a way saying that I'm not going to surrender to anybody. And that I'll surrender to Prabhupada is just an excuse. Because now that Prabhupada is not here, I'm not subjecting him, myself, to his chastisement. Right? If I surrender to somebody, he will find my faults and he will chastise me. Right? Prabhupada is not going to do that. Or if anybody has to do that, let Prabhupada come and do that. Right? So no, we need to surrender to somebody who is there. We may take our time to find that person, but at some point in time, we have to find the person and surrender. Thank you. Shraddha, do you have anything to say? You didn't have any question, or I was wondering.
I actually had a question.
Oh, your voice, yeah.
But it's coming back to me. Which I remember some of my questions. But I just want to also express appreciation for this talk. This has been really nice, especially as I mentioned before. Some of us have been studying with the British group for the 11th cancer for 2 years now. And it's kind of interesting that you stopped at the same chapter. We're now in the 19th chapter, and you ended your 18th chapter, which is been really good to get that summary.
Was it helpful?
It was very helpful.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Yeah. So next, yeah.
Gave us the key to that door, and we felt like we opened that door and it really speaks of what's there behind the door. Very appreciated. I have a question, Maharaja. The first question is, why is there so much emphasis on the Bhakti?
Why there is so much emphasis on?
Why is there so much, not so much emphasis on the Bhakti as there is on the Bhakti? In my past, whenever there was something, I would say, well, we can Bhakti, why is the Bhakti standing on itself? And my second question is,
Okay, just the first. Let's see the first question. The importance of Bhagavad Gita is there naturally, but then from Bhagavad Gita, where we are going? From Bhagavad Gita, we are going to Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And at the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are getting the Uddhava Gita, right? In that, we are getting the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. All right? Okay, then there was the next question.
the second question is, when the soul goes back to Godhead, does it have to fight his relationship with Krishna? Does it have become apparent.
Well, okay, good. Before you go back to Godhead, while you are practicing devotional service, through that practice, your relationship with Krishna will automatically be established. And then, according to that relationship, you will find yourself in the spiritual sky.
And that relationship or the soul?
Yes, soul's relationship with Krishna. And those relationship will be based on one of the 5 mellows. That's why they are called sthairas, permanent mellows. Santa, neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental and conjugal. In one of the 5 mellows, the relationship will be established with Krishna. So, give others some chance, because today is the last session. Yeah, Shashank, he has his hands up for a long time.
Thank you so much for ending this retreat by mentioning the importance of understanding Krishna's Vrindavan Leela. So, based on what you explained, what is the qualification required to begin study of Krishna's Braja Leela?
What is the qualification to study Krishna's Braja Leela? Go according to Srila Prabhupada's syllabus. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, gradually from 1st canto, go up to 9th canto, and then enter into a 10th canto describing Braja Leela. That is the qualification. Not jump from nowhere to 10th canto. No. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, step by step, come to the 10th canto. Right? Yes, Suresh?
Yesterday you were describing about the Vanaprastha and the Sannyasi. There's a large difference between what is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and what is being followed. So how do we understand that?
Yeah, because we are in a different age in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, no one has that qualification to act like that. In Kali Yuga, the arrangements are very different. In Kali Yuga, we are used to just turn the switch, light comes up, right? Press the tap, water comes out, right? And so forth. So we are living a life in such a way, from there to just going to the forest, they won't survive for more than 2 days. Either they will run back to the city, to their home, or they'll be eaten up by some animals there. Right? Because they are not accustomed to that kind of life. So the process is all presented by the acharyas, is very practical to the consideration of the people of that time. In Satyuga, therefore, the process was in a certain way. Treta Yuga in some other way. Dwapar Yuga in some other way. And Kali Yuga in another way. Right? Therefore, if you want to go to take Banaprastha, as I mentioned, you don't have to go to forest. Just go to ISKCON temple. Right? Spend your Banaprastha there. If you want to be a brahmachari, you don't have to behave in a certain way. Like matted hair, wearing deer skin or tree bark, and not brushing your teeth. These are the requirements for brahmacharis. No, just join ISKCON and lead the life as a brahmachari. Distributing books, cleaning the temple, and so forth. The main thing is not how we are living. The main consideration is how we are acting. And the consideration is shift your mind from matter to Krishna's lotus feet. That is the goal of all ashrams and varnas. All right. So just become Krishna conscious. And again, once again, I will say, Prabhupada gave the process. Just follow the process. Although the scriptures are saying certain things, but Prabhupada is saying something else. And sometimes troubles start actually. Somebody thinks, oh, Prabhupada, it happened. Prabhupada's process, what Prabhupada gave was not good enough. We went to India and we saw how the sadhus live. So they tried to introduce that point, that standard. And Prabhupada was furious. Why Prabhupada was furious? Because Prabhupada knew, what is going to be practical for these people in America. And Prabhupada gave the process accordingly. Not even the way people live in ashrams in India. Prabhupada created ISKCON in such a way that the people from the West will feel comfortably situated and execute their spiritual life. Therefore, just follow Srila Prabhupada's process. What Srila Prabhupada gave is perfect, just follow that. And no change. Should not be any changing that system. This system should continue for generations after generations. Mangalartik at 4:30. Right? That's ISKCON standard. All over the world. It is not that now it's only 4:30, 20 years after it's going to be 5:30. And then it'll be 6:30. No. 4:30 Mangalartik. Chant 16 rounds. Deity greetings, Guru Puja, Prasad, breakfast. That's the standard that is being followed all over the world, and that standard will continue as long as ISKCON will be there. All glory is to Srila Prabhupada.
Santa